Good morning, Lisa. Where are you?
Where am I? I'm in my home, getting ready to go to the gym.
Oh, okay. When you flying out?
Tomorrow I pack at 2 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. My son is picking me up to take me to the airport. So I'll be there on Saturday.
Who arranges your flights?
Well, I have to go to Medford to fly out, so I have to be there 2 hours before my flight. And my flight, well, I think it's at 5:30, so I have to be there at 3:30. Let's see. So I have to be there at 3:30. So technically he could pick me up at 2:45.
So this begs the question, good morning, you all, of how early not a local flight, a national flight, not international. How early do you get to the airport? Like, what is ideal? Are you a 2 hour? Are you a 1 hour? Are you a skate by the skin of your teeth?
Oh
Good.
no, I've done that too many times.
So you're a 2 hour girl now?
I'm a 2 hour girl at every airport, and sometimes I need it and other times I sit around waiting. And this
Great.
is a long flight. This is taking me a long time because I have 2 flights. So that's why I extended my trip, because I'm not flying all the way over there for 3 days and then turn around and flying all the way back.
Exactly. So Bree, how early do you get to the airport?
2 hours.
Oh my gosh. All right. This is a great question. Michael, how early do you get to the airport?
When she gets her ass up and gets ready.
Okay. When you have to fly just nationally, not internationally, are you a 2 hour before the flight leaves, girl? Or are you a 1 hour, or you get there some other time?
1 hour.
All right. So I consider it a success if I get to the airport. I do carry on. I don't check my bags. I get my Starbucks and then I get in line and I get on the plane. And if it is anything but that, it is not a success. I am a skin of your teeth. I've actually had them hold the plane for me one time. I don't remember where I was, some small airport. And I went to him and I'm like, I really want coffee. Like, I really need coffee. And you could see the Starbucks. And she's like, go. And I went there, and airport Starbucks are run by government employee postal workers or something. I don't know what, the slowest people on planet Earth. And it was taking so long. I ran back to the gate and because there's nobody waiting anymore. It's just me. And I'm like, they're not done yet. And she's like, darling, I have you. Go get your coffee. And I did. And then got on the plane and took off. Another time we were in Vegas. I think it was Vegas. Maybe it wasn't Vegas. I don't know. Anyway, I got a drink, some drink, and the flight was so delayed. And then all of a sudden, in the back of my head, I'm like, wait, I can hear them calling my name. And my husband was with me, and I'm like we gotta go. And we ran up there, and there's just a few people left to get on the plane. And they literally, I had my big drink, and I was either going to Vegas or in Vegas. And they said, lady, you can't take that on the plane. And I was like, well, I'm past security. Like, what's the problem? And they're like, it's alcohol. I'm like, all right. So I literally tipped it up. And my husband's like, oh God, please do not be this way. And the entire line is like, go, chug it. And my husband's like, oh dear God, I don't know you. Like, here you go, done. On the flight. So anyway, all right. Enough of that. Y'all tell me.
I can't believe that you did that.
My husband, if you knew my husband, he is like, he's just Mr. Proper and follows the rules and all those kinds of things.
So opposites attract, you're telling me?
Pardon me?
You say opposites attract, right?
Exactly. And so there's a continual thing where he's just like, he'll just start backing away, like he doesn't really know me and we're not really married. No, that kind of thing. So
That's
anyway.
funny. Yeah.
Yep. Awesome sauce. So tell me some good news, y'all. What you guys got?
I wrote my book.
Yay! Congratulations.
Thank you. I was really, really feeling disappointed that I hadn't done it and didn't know how to do it. And yesterday I sat down and I figured out the technology, and then I figured out a little bit more so I could at least, correct some spelling and put in some punctuation. It's not perfect, but at least I got it all on paper, sent it over to my daughter, and I'm going to talk to her this morning, and then I'll drop it in the thing, and I'm done. And the minute I got done, all of a sudden this big weight got off my shoulders, and now I'm ready to pack and go to Florida.
Ah, that is a huge blessing story. It really is. Were you on the last meeting? I can't remember. Like, whose are you also editing?
Melanie.
Okay, cool beans. Just wondered. All right, who else has got some good news?
I picked up another listing and buy.
Nice, very nice. And how'd you get those?
I went through my lost people that I hadn't heard from in a while because of my fault. So I last reached out to them like 2 years ago. No,
That's a long time, girl.
Mother's Day. I reached out to the wife, wished her happy Mother's Day, and Easter, sent them a video, and they reached out to me. They said, we want to sell this week and we want to move.
Wow, that was complete serendipity on their part that they got you, but on your part too. So what'd you learn from that? Let's do it that
Well, yes, I need to stay in front of people more. And just come from value.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Congrats, Bree. All right, who else has got something good? Kathy, I saw you trying to say something earlier and nope, you're muted still.
I know, I had to unmute me.
Okay.
I've been talking back and forth with a lady in the neighborhood. I think I might have mentioned about the eggs.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, she reached out first thing this morning and we've been texting back and forth, and she's been working on the advice that I'd given her, and she got herself pre-approved for a loan to move to Pennsylvania.
Mhm.
So she's gotten that done. She says she's going to get a storage unit and start packing and decluttering the house that they have here. And I, asked a few questions this morning, and we don't have a set time, but she's agreed to meeting with me now. So I've asked her, she asked me what I thought the house was worth. And I asked her back what kind of improvements that she's done since they've had the house, and what things she'd like to do if she could. And then asked her what she thought the house was worth because she's hinted at different things. And then asked her if she was willing to meet with me yet. I still haven't answered her any questions. And she said the last thing she did was sent me the Zillow thing about
Very cool.
what the house she thinks is worth.
Mhm.
So, but she did say that anytime I could come over, just to remember she's got lots of things going on and whatever. I said, no
Very
problem.
cool. Yep, I used to always let people know that, look, it's okay. It's just me. I'm not bringing a photography crew. Have your girl, have her also check into, if she's moving and she's moving this stuff, rather than a storage unit, check into pods. A lot of pods will give you a few weeks on your side and a free month of storage on the other side. And so it gets it fairly inexpensive, and they move it. So
I was going to mention her that, but I didn't know that extra detail. So that's good.
Yep.
The issue with this is that she keeps saying moving in about a year, but the approval that she just got for 90 days.
Buyers are liars and sellers are something else you all told me. And I don't know what that was, because I just know the buyers.
Worse, I think she said. Somebody said worse.
I disagree with buyers are liars.
Do you?
Yep.
That's because you've worked with me.
Nope.
Yep.
That's because we don't ask the right question.
All right, fair enough. And who else has got good news? Michael, give me something. What you got?
Me? Me?
Oh,
or
yeah,
you?
sure. We'll do Michael O'Keefe.
Well, I've been making a lot of phone calls.
Nice.
I'm making 150. I was started out with 100 a day. Now I'm up to 150 a day. I
Nice.
got about, I would say I got 8 leads. They haven't turned into a listing appointment yet, although I did have one guy that was very willing to sell, but his wife, I don't know, she doesn't want to sell. And I have another guy, that he told me, I would like you to bring a customer to buy my $1.2 million multifamily. And I said, okay, I have somebody, and I really have somebody that wants to buy that house. So I called him back this week and he says, oh, I've decided that I'm going to hold on to it because I'm making enough money. So I suspect he's trying to play a little bit of a game with me, but I'm just going to let it go for now. And the guy that's looking to buy, he says, well, we can wait until, a year from now, and the prices are not going to be what they were. I even told him that he's willing to pay his price, which was 1.2 million. So I don't know what his problem is.
I just wrote down both of your objections. I want to go back to those because I want to stay with good news right now. But those are really good to bring up to the group.
And the other good news, well,
Yeah.
a number of other people have told me that they're looking to sell, but not immediately. And they were very, I did speak to one person in the market who was like a frightened person about interest rates, the economy, even though he told me he wants to sell his house and move on. And I just told him, I said, you need to be, if you want to do something in your life, I suggest that you do it. And, you're going to survive no matter what you do. But he's really frightened. And I suspect there's a lot of people out there like that. I would say this guy, he sounds like he's around 30 something years old. He lives not far from me, but it's interesting talking to people.
Yeah.
Michael.
Hang on one second.
Yeah.
I want to go back to those. Wait one second. I want to go with good news first, and then I have them written down too. There, now you guys can see. All right, somebody else give me some good news, and then we'll circle around. This is really good stuff. So Michael Essery, since you said Michael, let's give us some good news.
Nothing's changed.
Yeah, it has. You got something in there good.
Your closing and another one's supposed to be this month.
There you go.
If all of you behave, we'll have a closing.
Listen, dude. I am possibly your easiest client.
Well, okay, I'll agree with you.
All right, who else has got some good news? Kay, can you hear us now? Are you in? I can hear you. Yes.
Yes, can you hear me?
Absolutely.
I had an Amber Alert that came in and it disconnected me, and all I could see was you, and I couldn't have any audio. I brought in another lease. I talked to Green. She was kind of quiet. I think she knew. I asked her the questions of how much more money are you going to lose on clients that aren't closing or are not getting the lease signed in a timely way. And I did also tell her that, well, I shared with her that I'd had another call from a client who was very upset because the closing period took too long, and this one was threatening to sue and file complaints. And I just very nicely and politely said, sometimes you can follow too many rules and break another rule. And I said it would be really sad if this client got together with the other client and the other two that were complaining about the same thing, if you ever had to go to court. And I just left it at that. And she kind of said, you're right. And that's all I said. She was hesitant. I probably should have done what Michael said when I said, how much more money, are you going to lose? And I should have just shut up and let her go there. But I was concerned about the lawsuit, and I was concerned about the complaint. And, I did tell her, I said, I can't afford to put my license in jeopardy. And she got real quiet.
I want to go back to that too, because that's really good. Okay. Excellent news. I'm so glad you did that. I really am. And what did you feel like after you did it, or what did you learn through the process of doing it? Like what's that part of it too?
Well, I was real proud that I wasn't upset. I wasn't angry. We did it over lunch, as opposed to an office setting. But I usually get a lot out of her when I talk to her at lunch. I don't think, I didn't over talk. And I didn't say anything negative about Anna. And she did concede. She says, I've got to get this tenant network set up. I'm just, I've got to learn the technology. I said, it's not hard. I said, I can sit down in front of a computer with you and we can get this set up. I said, I gave you 2 contracts yesterday. And I said, I would prefer that Anna not do anything with them, but it's your choice. And that was all I said.
I'm just so, congratulations. I know that was a very hard thing for you to do and you did it. And I'm just really, really, I don't want to say proud of you like I'm your mom, but I'm really proud of you, Kay. I really am.
Well, and the other ironic thing I did is I called up all the people that had been looking at the 2 apartments that had not, that we lost.
Mhm.
And one of them said, oh, is this you? Did you call me? I said, yes. And I said, have you found another place or not? She said, no, and we've got to move right now. I said, well, then you need to get your applications in because both upstairs and downstairs are available and you want both. And I said, but we need to move fast. So I'm supposed to pick up her and her brother's applications the end of today. And if I could lay that on her, then I think that would do it. And she's got 4 empties. One of them, the girl didn't even see. And I got a contract on that yesterday and delivered it to her. And then this is, pardon me for rambling, but I go to deliver it and I'm late because I'm trying to go out of town. I'm driving to pick up my car in Killeen, Texas today. And Anna comes out with the contract. She says, look, this isn't completed. He didn't complete all the sections. I said, what are you talking about? She said, right here, it says other occupants. He left it blank. And I said, that's because there are no other occupants. And she says, no, he has to put none.
Oh,
So-
now we're nitpicky.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. I'm not going to say
And I
bad.
just turned around. I said, Anna, I said, Green, I can't do this right now. I have to go out of town. I turned around and walked out.
Good for you. Good for you. Nellie, you're up next. Give us some good news. No, your name is Nellie. Your name is not Michael, and you're not pulling that. Give us some good news.
Yeah. Goodness. I'm here and I'm positive about
We'll take
it. Okay.
All right. Let's dig into a couple of things that were said that I love. The first one, actually, I'm going to do it in reverse order. Kay, you said something about you should have done what Michael Usser said and just shut up. I just read the most interesting stat. And if y'all have any more feedback on this, I love it. And that stat was it takes 4 seconds for a person of silence for a person to feel that that the response is complete rejection. And it really shocked me to know that. And I do remember that there's been plenty of times, and I know one was just recent. I cannot remember what it was, but I said something and then I just shut up. And I remember in the beginning kind of, and it's been a while since I've had to negotiate and do this, but I shut up and I remember that inside first I was like, and then on the outside I was like, nope, whoever talks first loses. And I just started counting. And then eventually I just sat back and I put my feet up on my desk and I was like, however long this takes is however long it takes. And it took a long time before they finally said, I remember what it was a difficult conversation I had to have with somebody before they finally kind of broke down and then we could get real and have the conversation. So counting helps me when I have to just shut up. Anybody else have any feedback on just shutting up? Asking the question and shutting up.
I do.
Yeah.
So we went under contract and the inspector was totally out of line
Recently, this happened to you.
recently. So we fell out of contract because of what the inspector said. Yes. And because he calls it a money pit
Mhm.
before we can negotiate anything. But I had to get real silent with my buyers and real silent with the inspector because what I wanted to say wouldn't have changed the outcome, made the outcome any better.
Ah, that's very good too. That's very good. Anyone else have anything on shutting up?
I think a lot of times what you try to do with people is you're going to talk first because you want to keep them calm or comfortable. Maybe you shouldn't really be doing
Right.
it.
Right.
Like with a customer or a cold call or whatever, you keep talking. I put a card in front of me while I'm making calls that says shut up. So I can just keep my mouth shut.
That's really good. I know when I cold called, I asked the question and then I shut up.
Well, what did you say?
Mhm.
What kind of cold calls were you making?
1-year-old expireds, they were almost always short
Oh.
sales back then, but they were 1-year-old expireds. There aren't any now. I mean, well, there might be, but
There's a few here.
yeah, there's not the big, huge pool that there used to be.
That
But,
used to be great. Yeah, I know.
and then the other thing, Kay, that I really liked that you did was you went to lunch. And there's something that when you have hard news, there's something about food that releases endorphins and calms people down. And so I've definitely used the lunch technique to say some hard things to some people, or had some really good, deep conversations because I needed them to get a little endorphins released instead of, I don't know what, going through their cortisone or testosterone or whatever it was that's going through them, that I needed that to calm down. So that was a good move also on your part. Yeah, so congrats. All right, Michael, let's dig into you. Let me see. The first one.
Michael O'Keefe.
Michael O'Keefe. The first thing that you said that I thought was really interesting is I can hang on to this. I can hang on to my investment property because it's still making me money. So do you guys have any objection handlers for somebody who says that?
Would you be in a better position if you were to sell now and leverage that money?
Good.
That's good.
What else you guys got? That's really good. By the way, Michael, I would write these down. Yeah, this is recording. Because we'll talk about what to do with it after you're done. What else you guys got?
One of the things that Gary mentioned is the pending capital rate changes on tax law.
Mm.
Yep, so there's definitely that. So
So
take,
everybody,
What capital
Everybody-
rate changes?
everybody.
On the
ask
tax
yourself-
rates.
Okay.
Everybody ask yourself a question. You had a property and it was making you money. Would you want to sell it or not?
oh, I'm gonna shut up until you guys have your answers and then I have mine.
So my response would
Hang on,
be,
hang on. Do you guys have any answers to that? If you guys have got a property that's making money, do you guys want to sell it or not?
How long do you want to keep it?
That's one answer, because it's your property. So you're gonna say, well, hang on, how long do I want to keep this?
Well,
What
how
else?
long have you
What's
owned
your
it is a
goal?
good question too.
What's your goal? Okay,
Because they
Oh,
could
he
have
said how long you
depreciated-
owned it.
It could be fully depreciated already. You know.
there's
Right.
that. Okay. The one I'm gonna ask, if you ask me that, look, if you ask me that, hey, Jenny, you have a property that's making money, do you want to sell it? Maybe, is there more money I can make off of it?
Right.
oh, my response is, I don't let them
Yes.
answer.
Is
I
what?
don't let them answer. My
Okay.
question to them is, so you're making money on it. Are you sure you want to sell it? But as they start to open their mouth, if I could show you a better property that would make you more return, would you be interested?
Bingo. Bingo. 'Cause
Oh,
my
good
first
point.
response to, I want to hold it because it's making money. Maybe, are you interested in making more?
No,
I'm
no,
gonna
no,
say-
no. You're throwing more in there, which is changing their train of thought. They've got to think capital, cash flow. So when I go in, it's like, if I could show you another way to make more revenue, would you be interested?
Yes
They
or no?
have to think about the word revenue.
Okay. That's
Revenue's
focus.
not a normal term. And it's like, they're gonna answer yes.
Mhm. That's good. That's
And that
good.
opens up the door to start the conversation of, okay, so how long have you owned the property? How far has it been depreciated? Now you're gonna go to Gary's calculator, rate of return calculator, and pull all that information, and those are the questions you want to ask as you fill out that calculator.
Yep. And what I'm going to add one little thing to that, 'cause I really like that going into the revenue. And then I'm going to say, are you available Tuesday at 2 or 4? I'm going to close for the appointment. And then I'm going to start asking questions. But I'm going to close for that appointment and then ask. That's the only difference I think in yours. I love your revenue asking that though.
Yeah, for me, I want to qualify you before I set the appointment.
And I do it just the opposite. I set and then qualify. Yeah.
Yeah, because if I don't want to set the appointment, if you're not qualified, if you're crazy, insane, or an idiot, I'm not going to do it.
I'm going to qualify and nail that appointment first, and then I'll do whatever I want to with it afterwards, but I'm going to qualify you afterwards because I'm not showing up unless we're qualified. So that's interesting, the flip on that. The next one, I don't, the guy that's really, because all those, hold it for more money, wait a year, not sell immediately, those all kind of center around the same basic thing for investment properties. But the other one that I'm really, really frightened right now. So what's some good objection handlers for I'm really frightened? I'm afraid of the interest rates. I'm afraid of this. I'm afraid of the economy. I'm afraid of blah, 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 blah. Go. What do you guys got for those?
Well, I told that guy, you got to make a decision. If you want to move, you move, you got to make your life first and your fears about money second, but
Okay, so that's one. What else?
So
you
my,
got? Yeah.
my remarks to somebody that's afraid is the only reason you're afraid is that you haven't been educated correctly. So what is it that you feel we need to sit down?
Those kind of things do not work here.
Why is that? Out of curiosity.
People are not nice here. Okay.
Where
At
are you?
all.
North? You're in the
I'm in
north.
Boston.
Yeah, you're in the
Oh,
north.
yeah.
Yeah, y'all
Michael?
are known for being wicked, whatever, but it's
Yeah.
always wicked.
Wicked awesome.
Michael?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Michael,
just kind of,
Yes.
yeah.
are you doing Mojo?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so that was what I wanted to ask you earlier. You say you were doing 100, 200. You got one line dialer or three?
I have three, but I'm
Okay.
building up to a larger number because it's really hard to sit here for an hour, and now it's going to be 2 hours.
I sit here for 4, 5, 6 hours.
Well, I know I'm working up to that.
Yeah, and you're right. It takes a little time to do that, and then I do take breaks in between them. So here's what I have learned or was taught when you're calling. The first time, Nate will tell you this, the first time someone starts to argue, be objective, or I'm not listed with an agent, I do these little things
Yeah.
to shut them down. Can I ask you about that or whatever? But if they are not nice to me, I'm ending the call and moving to somebody else. I don't want to argue with you. I'll call you next month.
Yeah, that's what I do too.
Yeah,
But-
so there's a bunch of, they're not mad at you or me. They're just mad at all the 100 phone calls I got today.
Well,
Okay.
I think people here are mad in general.
It's not just there, it's here too. I get it all. I made about 500 calls yesterday. I literally only had 3 good conversations.
Yeah, it can take a long time to get something. Then all of a sudden you get 2 things right away. Yeah. I know.
Right. And most of the people that I talked to were short, angry, attitude.
Yeah.
I'm not listening.
Do you ever notice that it's like that on a particular day? Everybody is like that. That's what I find.
Yeah.
Mondays. And then how much of it centers around you also? I also know that the more, what's the word I want? It's topsy-turvy. It's all over the place. It's unstable.
Fluctuation.
Yes, the more of that goes on, the more frightened and fearful, which is going to translate as anger, which anger is always a secondary emotion, by the way. Anger is never a first emotion. That's what they say. I disagree. Sometimes my husband does something and I'm dang angry. But they say it's a secondary emotion and the first emotion is something else that swells up and then we hit it with anger.
By the way, that guy was not angry. He was
Okay.
conversational. Yeah.
All right. So with the people that are really frightened, And I remember going through this before. One of the things that I would sit down and say is, look, a lot of my clients are really, really frightened until we had a chance to really sit down and go through everything. I'd love to sit down with you, and I'm going to try and just handle the objection close. If they still are telling me that they're frightened and they don't know what's going to be going on with everything, then I'm probably going to say something along the lines of, look, is there a need to move? Most people I find frame the conversation, which is really a cool technique to do. When you say, most people I find are really, really ethical or smart or cautious in their decision-making or whatever you want them to do, frame it that way. I find most people, and I believe that you're probably this way too. Now you're telling them, this is how I want you to act. And then their heads are like, yeah, I am that way. I'm,
That's
whatever. So frame it. And then I find that most people are moving because they need to, because they need a bigger house, or they got a new job, or they've got a kid on the way, or they need to downsize, or whatever their life situation is. Is that the situation with you? Are you moving for some reason? And there's always a reason. Nobody packs up their house and moves for no reason, right? And then when they give you their reason, oh, okay. What I really like to do with you, there's no pressure or anything. I would just really like to sit down and kind of walk you through some of your options. And then you at least know what your options are. You okay with that? And again, that's a really easy, I do want to know my options. And it's always everything that I'm saying. I'm not giving you any information. I'm not telling you what your options are. I'm not, telling you what anything is. I just keep on going in and closing in for that appointment and closing in for that appointment and closing in for that appointment. So that's what I think I would do with somebody who said they were really, really afraid and is conversational and wants to talk. To me, that's not a no. That's I totally would. I just don't know how, and I'm scared to death to do it. That's cool. I can deal with that all day long. I kind of like people afraid.
I told them to consider adjustable rate mortgage, which I think is actually a really good thing to do right now, but he didn't like that either. But anyway.
Well, I disagree. I watched this in the 90s, and interest rates are going up and adjustable rates are going up. So before I would call and talk to my mortgage person first about that and get a little clarity on it. I may be wrong.
There's a significant there's a big difference in those interest rates, because I get a letter from somebody every week about it. But I have a friend that bought his house in the 90s, and he had an adjustable rate mortgage, and interest rate just kept going down, 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 down. He never had a problem for it for 30 years. So,
you are correct with that. But today they're raising rates, and they're going to keep raising them until the administration figures out what the hell to do. So you get an adjustable, it's going to go up every time you turn around here until they get this leveled out. Could be a couple of months, could be a couple of years. That's the only I'm saying. Talk to a mortgage consultant or something about that and get a little more clarity to it. I had adjustable. I was buying with adjustable rates all over the place because you could qualify for with less qualifications. I had like 4 of them, and you're right. The interest rates went down, then they started going up, and then I went in and refinanced into a fixed loan. So there are times that it's a great way to do it. My only concern right now is rates are going up, and if you could sustain the rates to go up with that, and then when they drop back down, refinance. Yes.
Yeah, I agree. And every product, for the most part, can be a good product depending on the situation. We're really digging into the situation because right now they are going up, and that would make me very leery unless I knew I was getting a big chunk of change, or my situation was going to change dramatically, or whatever the situation is. And I knew that I could either refi, pay it off, get out of it, underneath it, around it, or whatever. Because I see the writing on the wall also, and I think they're going to get there. The feds are just going to keep on pumping up, trying to get this thing beat down. I don't think it's going to get beat down for a while. But,
but we're talking about 5 years, 5 year.
Yeah, that's just, I don't have a crystal ball. I just have a magic 8 ball, and we're overdue.
Well, you can look at the bond futures 5 years out and see what's going on.
Yep.
I don't think anybody knows right now. I hope this is just a spike in interest rates, because if it's not, then we have a very big problem.
Amen. Okay, Michael, I wanted to tell you that to write down your objections so I could tell you about this. This is my book of scripts. I highly recommend if you do any kind of cold calling that you have something either already in Mojo or on a piece of paper in front of you or in a script book or something like that. So you don't have to memorize your scripts and you don't have to think about it. You can literally turn to the page. So if I kept on hearing 3 times or more by different people, the same thing, like, I want to wait, it's still making me money. I'm going to wait till next year, or I'm frightened, I'm scared, what's going on, I don't know. Whatever it is, come up with the answer for that works for you. 1 at least, if not 2 or 3 of those, put them in the script book with the tabs, that tab out across the top. So when you're talking, or on a big board or in Mojo, they have.
I have a script book with all my Keller Williams scripts in there in plastic, whatever you call them. You know what I'm talking about? Sheet protectors. And
Yep. Are you tabbed out so you can find everything really easy?
not tabbed out. but
Tabbed out your
that's
stuff.
probably a good idea.
Yeah, if you have it all, tab it out, because literally all these are different script objections. Well, they're not all objections.
There's
Most
a lot.
there really is. There's really only 5. This is a section for expired, a section for this, a section for that, et cetera. So there's really only, usually 4 or 5 that you'll deal with depending upon who it is you're calling.
And by the way, that guy that doesn't want to sell his $1.2 million house, he's a liar. He's not somebody I can deal with in a straightforward manner. He wants to play some sort of game with me to not pay me a commission, because previously we already discussed commission. So I told him, well, I won't bring my customer without getting a promise of a commission in writing. I don't think he liked that.
I'm not going to bring anybody unless you have it in writing. I'm just,
Okay, so,
Yeah.
so here's a little.
So this
something.
is his next phone call. This is what he says to me, but then go ahead, Michael.
Michael Essery. Yes. What do you got?
So a little something that works. When you get the objection of money, you want to shut it down. So when somebody,
Commission money or pricing money?
either, but let's refer to commission right now. So yesterday I made a phone call. Are you still there?
Yep.
Oh, my screen went black. The guy's a for sale by owner and says, oh, I'm not paying commission. I go, that's okay. That's not a problem. He goes, well, I'm not gonna pay you commission. He repeated it 3 times. And I said, look, that's fine, because if you as a seller are not willing to pay me, my buyers all sign a contract that they will pay me my 3%. Well, all I'd pay you is 2%. I said, okay, that's fine. Not a problem, because my buyers pay the other 1%. And then I get into trying to close the appointment, because I never closed the appointment. He was a fool anyway, and he wasn't planning on doing anything right now. So I always find a way to shut down that number, just like the price of the house. What can you get me for it? Well, can I ask you about that? Sure. Well, here's what I like to do. I like to meet people in the afternoon and the evening. Do you have an 8 to 5 job?
Yep.
And shut it down, because I don't discuss price. I don't discuss anything on the phone as far as your property.
Well, I had, another situation where the guy, I said he decided his wife didn't want to sell his house. And he was like, I need a bottom line. I said, okay, fine. Let me call you back. Let me look into it. So I went over to the house. I took a picture of the house, not far from where I live. And then I just sent him back a message saying, I think I can sell it for the following, blah, blah, blah. And he was very grateful. He turned from a jerk into a nice person after that. But now they said they decided they don't want to sell it yet because they like their income.
Right.
He, by the way, lives in a fantastic mansion not far from where I live.
So Michael, Michael, you're the seller. If you did sell, where are you guys going to go?
Well, that's a rental property that I'm talking about.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
he wants to sell the rental. He's
Gotcha.
trying to decide if he wants to sell the rental property.
And his wife doesn't want to sell it?
That's what he said. He said, okay, I'm going to talk to my wife. I got back to him. He said, no, we've decided we like getting the rent. Although looking
then
at the
we go
house
back
he
to
lives in,
our other
I don't
one
think he
again.
needs the rent.
Yeah, but rent is nice. Then we go back to our other stuff again. Hey, I gotta go, you guys. I gotta jump
Okay.
on.
Thank you.
Gotta get some stuff before I run into my nose. Thank you guys hugely. By the way, Bree, love your dress. Kate, love your lipstick. Kathy, love your coffee cup. Have a fabulous day, you guys. See you tomorrow.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Tina.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Were you saying something, Nellie?
Nellie asked about my, how the objection book printed off of my website. Gary's in my website. They're all there. I can't hear you.
Unmute.
Sorry, you gotta go. So I was asking about something else. I said send a copy of today's because
These will get recorded and I know she's working on getting them all up on YouTube. I know some are. She's seriously backlogged. We got an agent in Texas that we cannot get through the MLS and the realtor board. And every single time we do, it's the wrong form, it's the wrong this, and Texas is a nightmare. So that's her first project. And then she's got it on her list to get them all up. She's working on it. I apologize. She's just been slammed. We had a good meeting yesterday. Literally, I'm like, how's your scheduling going? She goes, it was great until you brought on 5 agents in 2 weeks. I know. And then I got another 2 I put on.
so the scripts.
Yeah.
I've seen the scripts. They're not that much of it in the book, like so you create your.
So if you print them, so each script that I do, I print fat, huge. So my book looks thick. It literally is. That's where I put the scripts is on my website. It's just that they're like this and then this,
Large.
I print them huge. So when I turn a page. and
Oh, so you divide it. Okay.
Yeah, and then so, I mean, it's
I
printing.
get it. I get it.
Yeah, because I don't want to think or anything. I literally just want to say, if you're not interested in working with investors, can I ask why? I mean, they're just,
We'll talk today. I get stuck with answering questions.
Oh, this one's a good one. I should have told him this one. It's never a good time. Rip off the Band-Aid. You make your own time.
Yeah, that's my thing, I think.
Yep.
All right, we'll talk
I'll
today.
practice with you sometime, Nellie, if you want.
Do it, you two. You two would be a perfect match. Oh my gosh, I love that. Do it. You two just became accountability buddies.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah.